Welcome back to the course, Chemistry 1, which is an introduction to quantum chemistry and molecular spectroscopy. This is a lecture on the solutions to the assignment problems. Some of these problems I shall give the hints instead of going through the numerical details. This will be in small bits, maybe 1 or 2 problems for each of these lectures. This is useful to you. So, let us go back to the first assignment problem that was posted on the website. If you recall, the first problem asked you to calculate the eigenfunctions of a free particle kinetic energy operator. It also asked you to obtain the momentum eigenvalues and eigenfunctions for the free particles. And then the question is whether these wave functions are acceptable in quantum mechanics. So, we have to understand what is meant by acceptable wave functions, and if they are not acceptable, is it possible for us to make them acceptable. So, that is what this problem is. These are all conceptual ideas when you are learning quantum mechanics for the first time. Therefore, it is important to go through these details very carefully. Okay. So, what are the wave functions for the free particle kinetic energy operator? So, when you say free particle, define it, which means that there is no potential energy acting on the particle. Therefore, it has only kinetic energy, only kinetic energy. Kinetic energy. Okay. The kinetic energy operator is, of course, classically it is momentum squared by 2m for a particle traveling with a velocity velocity v and with a mass m, and we assume that the mass m is a simple form and is a constant, that this is a non-relativistic motion, and the operator for that is in quantum mechanics minus h bar square by 2m d square by dx square, as you might recall. So, what is the solution for the free particle kinetic energy operator? We are looking at all solutions minus h bar square by 2m d square psi by dx square is equal to E psi. This is the h psi is equal to E psi, the Schrodinger equation for time independent quantum mechanics. Okay. There is no condition. It is free particle. We have not defined the boundary like we did in the particle in a box. Therefore, we have to find out the general solution. So, the general solution is, if we rewrite this equation again, d square psi by dx square plus k square psi is equal to 0, and k square is 2m E by h bar square. After rearranging the equation, the general solution for this is usually written in the complex form, and the complex form for this is A e to the I k x plus b e to the minus I k x, where A and B are unknowns. B are unknowns. You can also write them in terms of a cos k x and a sin k x. That would be very useful if you have a finite boundary, because then it is possible for us to impose the boundary conditions. We can't do that here simply because e to the I k x never goes to 0. Okay. It is cos k x plus or minus I sin k x. Okay. Therefore, these two functions do not go to 0 for any single value of x or k x. Therefore, this function is never 0, it is always oscillatory, and it is also complex. So, this is the general solution. You can substitute this solution here, and you will see that if you take d psi by dx, then you will see that the I k coming down, A e to the I k x with and the minus I k coming down from this term to b e to the minus I k x, and this is not the same as the function, there is a minus sign, and therefore, if you take this second derivative d square by dx square, you would see that I k, there is also another I k, so this becomes I square k square, which is minus k square a e to the I k x, and this is a minus I k and there is a minus I k for one more derivative. Therefore, it is also minus k square b e to the minus I k x, and you see that this is immediately minus k square times psi, thus getting back the equation. Okay. So, the free particle kinetic energy operator is defined with the solutions that you have here, a e to the I k x and b e to the minus I k x. Is it acceptable? No. No, not acceptable. Why? Not acceptable unless a boundary is defined. If you say psi x is valid for all x, meaning minus infinity less than x plus infinity, if you do that, then the integral psi star psi x minus infinity to plus infinity dx will now become, even if we take only one of the terms e to the I k x, this will become actually minus infinity to plus infinity a e to the I k x. Let us write this as a complex, because we do not know what a is, it is a constant, and we have plus b star e to the minus I k x. This is psi star multiplied by psi, which is a e to the, the psi star is the minus sign here and with the plus sign here, and it is a e to the I k x plus b e to the minus I k x dx. It is easy to show that this integral never terminates at infinity, it keeps on oscillating, and in fact, it becomes infinite. This integral becomes infinite. Okay. So, not acceptable, not normalizable. If you take even one term, for example, if you say psi of x is a e to the I k x, and let us assume that b is 0, it is very clear that psi star psi x dx is a star integral e to the I k x e to the minus I k x, this is minus, this is plus, psi star psi minus infinity to plus infinity, which is a star integral minus infinity to plus infinity 1 dx, and that is infinite. Okay. And you can show the same thing for that, as well as for the cross terms. Therefore, a boundary is needed. Suppose the solution is valid for x less than a certain absolute value a, x is between minus a and plus a, then it is possible to find a normalization constant, because if we assume psi of x to be a e to the I k x, then integral psi star x psi of x dx between the limits minus a to plus a, because the function is defined only in that region and we assume that it is 0 everywhere else, then you can see that this is nothing other than minus a to plus a star 1 dx, and that is a star times 2a. And if that should be set equal to 1 for probability, then the absolute a square is 1 by 2a, and therefore, the magnitude of a is 1 by square root of 2a. Okay. This is okay, normalizable. Therefore, free particle wave functions are acceptable only within certain defined boundaries, and this was the reason why we did the particle in a one-dimensional box with very clear L boundary, 0 to L boundary, and even in the hydrogen atom also, when we did not have a boundary that R goes all the way to infinity, we ensure that the wave function goes to 0 faster than any other function that multiplies it. And therefore, eventually that integral psi star psi is normalizable to a finite value. That integral has a finite value. And therefore, 1 by square root of that finite value is the normalization constant. Okay. So, that is important for understanding this problem. Okay. The second problem is, of course, to state that the eigenfunctions psi n of x that you have done for a particle in the box with a finite boundary, they are eigenfunctions of the Hamiltonian for the particle in a box, but not its momentum. That is, they are not eigenfunctions of the momentum operator. You can see that right away, that the momentum operator is a derivative operator d by dx, and therefore, the operation d by dx on psi n of x does not give you sine n pi x by L back, but it gives you cosine n pi x by L multiplied by n pi by L. Therefore, it is not an eigenfunction of the momentum operator, but it is an eigenfunction of the momentum square operator. Question will come, what does that mean? I mean, if the Hamiltonian is only momentum square, and if the wave function is an eigenfunction of momentum square, but not of the momentum itself. Please remember, the square root of 2 by L sine n pi x by L was arrived at with specific boundaries with potential v is equal to infinity. If you recall, when we solve this equation minus h bar square by 2 m d square psi by dx square is equal to E psi for 1D model, we assume that v is infinity everywhere else and v is 0. Potential is there. Okay? There is no potential here, but it is the infiniteness of the potential that restricts this solution to the psi of x is equal to square root of 2 by L sine n pi x by L. Therefore, the Hamiltonian does incorporate the boundary conditions through the infinite potential, and it is just not p square by 2m, it is p square by 2m plus the boundary, and that particular operator does not obviously commute with the operator p. Therefore, the eigenfunctions of the operator p and the eigenfunctions of the operator p square are not the same. On the other hand, if there is no particle finite boundary, you remember psi of x is a e to the I k x. If we take this as an eigenfunction, this is a solution of this operator also. But in addition, please remember, this is also a solution of the momentum operator. Psi of x is equal to obviously minus I h bar times d psi by derivative dx will give you plus I k, and it will give you a e to the I k x, and therefore, the answer is h bar k e to the I k x a, and you can see that this is the wave function. Therefore, you have h bar k times psi. Thus, the operator without any finite potential boundary for a free particle has the same wave function as the wave function, the eigenfunction for the kinetic energy operator. There, p and p square commute with each other obviously, and you can see that the wave function also is the same for both. Subtle details are important. Details. Okay? So, that is what this particular problem is supposed to illustrate.